Hello there, you're watching Oneindia. This is The Writing on the Wall. My name is Pankaj Mishra. Now, 63-year-old President Ebrahim Raisi, a hardline cleric who was considered the likely successor to Iran's octogenarian supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has died. In his 3 years in power since being elected in 2021, Raisi had worked to expand Iran's influence in the Middle East, backing armed groups in several countries in the region. He also accelerated Iran's nuclear program after the United States, under former President Donald Trump, withdrew from the nuclear deal that world powers had struck with Tehran in 2015. The last few months have been among the most tense for the Middle East in the recent years. Iran's decades-old hostility with Israel spilled into open aggression last month when Tehran launched an unprecedented aerial attack on Israel in retaliation for an Israeli bombing of the Iranian diplomatic premises in Syria that killed a senior Iranian military leader. Under Raisi's leadership, Iran also emerged as a major supplier of military drones to Russia, contributing significantly to Russia's war strategy in Ukraine. Last year, China brokered a historic deal between Iran and Saudi Arabia to restore diplomatic ties severed in 2016, signaling Beijing's entry into the big power politics in the region and a potential shift in the geopolitical dynamics. The United States is now working on a deal with Saudi Arabia that seeks to isolate Iran, but cooperation from Israel is crucial. Domestically, Raisi's tenure saw massive protests after the death of a Kurdish woman, Mahsa Amini, in the custody of Iran's religious police in September of 2022. His government responded with an iron fist, crushing the demonstrations and executing many protesters in what became known as the Woman Life Freedom Movement against Tehran's strict Islamic laws. With Raisi's death, each of these complex issues will now engage Iran's leadership. No dramatic shift in position is expected immediately, but a recalibration of Iran's response is possible as the new president takes over. However, there are many moving parts to it, and the roles of the US, Saudi Arabia and Israel will be critical in shaping the region's future dynamics with Iran. Now, just to recap, Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi and Foreign Minister Hossein Abdollahian were among the 9 people confirmed dead on Sunday after their helicopter crashed in Iran's mountainous northwestern region on Saturday. The reports of the crash triggered widespread celebrations across the Shia majority nation, where Raisi, known as the Butcher of Tehran, had been in office since August 2021 and ruled with an iron fist. Raisi, a hardliner known for his proximity to Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, was in line of potentially becoming Iran's next Supreme Leader. A theocratic hardliner, he was responsible for crushing dissent, free speech, and enforcing the harsh hijab and chastity law that restricted women's attire and gave unlimited powers to the moral police. The enforcement of strict Islamic laws like the hijab rule triggered nationwide protests against the theocratic regime after the custodial death of Mahsa Amini, as mentioned earlier, in 2022. That death particularly catapulted the reactions in Iran that the world had never seen before. Remember, Amini, a 22-year-old Kurdish woman, was arrested by the morality police for allegedly violating hijab rules, sparking the Woman Life Freedom Movement that marked one of the most significant challenges faced by the Iranian regime since the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Ironically, as a student activist, Raisi had taken part in protests against the liberal, pro-Western Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, who was eventually overthrown in 1979 revolution that brought the Shia clergy to power and established the Islamic Republic. Who would have thought at that time that the Butcher of Tehran would meet such a fate, and a country, the nation of Iran, would be celebrating? At least the young women are, and that's what is baffling many, that how the country, whether it is in mourning or whether it needs a relook at its own policies in order to have the house in order. Thanks for watching.